And we're back. 44 before Mem Dalet Amud Beis. Okay, this is the last of Amud. We have to catch up. From the rabbis, let's learn. Let's infer something for the position of Reb Kiva. Meaning, the rabbis said we learn from the word infused to teach me tam ke'eker. Okay, and yesterday we explained why the rabbis and Reb Kiva, ultimately where Reb Kiva learns tam ke'eker from a different source. Why the rabbis don't learn from that source. But the bottom line is so the bottom line is the rabbis learned from Mishras by Nazir to apply to everywhere else in the Torah. Reb Kiva Nami. So Reb Kiva, who learns, what does he use Mishras for? Mishras the Hatim and so he uses the word Mishras, infused, teach me that if there's permitted food and forbidden food, even though the forbidden food on its own doesn't have the proper amount, but together it combines. So why doesn't Reb Kiva learn to the entirety of the Torah? Meaning, why is he limited to Nazir alone? So Reb Kiva would answer like this: because Nazir is not the only place where we have this principle. It's mentioned by Chatas as well. Whenever you have, meaning, if the Torah were to mention this concept, this combination concept in one place, then you would say, okay, that's going to be the prototype. We're going to learn from there to everywhere else. But if it then says it in a second place, you have to just go ask yourself, why does it say it in two places? Why can't we just learn it from source number one? It must be that those two are exceptional and not a source to learn from everywhere else. So the other one is Chatas. Let's see what that's referring to. Nazir Had Amra. Nazir we have already mentioned. Chatas Mahi. What's the source where we see that Chatas? We have this combination principle. The time it's on the Brisa. Kol Asher Yikdash. Torah says regarding the Chatas offering that whatever touches its meat shall be holy. Yachal Afilu Lo Bala. You would think that even if it didn't absorb anything, it just touched it, it's going to be Asar Tamalom or Bivsara in its meat. Until the next, let's say you have two pieces of meat. One is Chatas offering and one is not. The Chatas has to absorb, Chatas meat has to be absorbed into the other thing. Okay, Yikdash, there's Kamoa, and the Pasuk says Yikdash should be holy, meaning it should be exactly like it. Shem Psul Hiti Pasal. If the Chatas is disqualified, then the meat that absorbs some of the flavor also becomes disqualified. And if it was qualified, then it has to be eaten with all the stringencies. The bottom line is, we see that you have this regular piece of meat, it's a regular barbecued piece of meat, but it's next to the chatas. A little bit of chatas juice gets into the chatas, and together, even though there's just a minimal amount of chatas juice, it's going to have all the halachos of the chatas. So you see the combination principle applies for Abananami. So now we go back to the rabbis. Okay, now we know the rabbis don't hold the combination principle. So presumably they use that pasuk, teach me also tam ke'eker. So we now turn to the rabbis. So now you have Nazir Mishras, which teaches me tam ke'eker, and now you have this chatas case. It's not going to be usher because of the combination principle. It's going to be usher because the chatas flavor is in the next piece. So two psukim for a tam ke'eker. Again, based on that principle, you can't. If you have two psukim that say the same thing, you don't learn to anywhere else. So Amr Hanu Mitzrach Tzricha. The rabbis say no, both verses are needed. Rabbi Kiva counters. My tzricha. What do you mean they're both needed? Bishlami Yikas Rachman Kip Bechatas. Had the Torah only said it regarding chatas lo gamer nazir. You can't learn nazir from chatas. Why the chulin mikachim lagabrinan? The nazir can't eat non-sacred items. So you can't learn non-sacred items like a stringency by non-sacred items from chatas, which is holy items, sacred items. But let the Torah just say it by nazir. But to have a chatas v'tigmar v'teisei chatas tigmar not, and you could for sure learn chatas, which is more holy from it. So to call nazir because you yourself said that you learn everything from nazir. For Banan, Gemara says no. Amri lo mitzrach tzrichi. They're both needed. Why? Chatas the head mitzrach le'iser. Bechulin kachim legamar. The rabbis say no. We actually agree with you. This principle of the combination principle, but only by kachim, only by holy things, and that's why the chatas pasuk is coming teach me heter mitzrach le'iser. But you can't learn from chatas to non-holy things because chulin kachim legamar. You can't learn sacred, not mundane from sacred things. Mishras the tam ke'eker, and therefore Mishras is the only pasuk coming to teach me tam ke'eker. And you learn from there the entire Torah. Okay, back to Rabbi Kiva. He says no. He holds again Mishras and Chatas come teach me the combination principle. And they are two psukim that teach me one same thing. Therefore, you don't learn from there. Okay. Says Gemara. Amrle Ravashi Rav Kahana. Ravashi says to Rav Kahana. We're going to ask the following question, Rabbi Kiva's approach. The following brayso: anything made of the grapevine, from the seeds, the skins, you shall not eat. And the brayso says, "Liman al Yisur Nazir from Zemizeh." When it comes to Nazir, prohibited items, meaning the pasuk said the seeds, the skin, those combine to make a shear. In other words, let's say you have a half a gazais of seeds, half a gazais of skin, they combine together. Hashler Rekiva Isser v'heter. Ravashi asks, wait a second. According to Rekiva, if I had wine forbidden, bread permitted, to get half a gazais of each, they combine to make it asr. So why do I need a pasuk teach me skin forbidden, pits, seeds forbidden, they combine. If one thing is heter and one thing is asr, they combine together. So for sure, if both are asr, they're going to combine together. So Isra Rabaya, would there be any question about forbidden? So Amrle, so why do you need this pasuk? So Amrle, Isra heter v'asach says no, there's a difference. When it comes to forbidden food and permitted food, it's only forbidden when they're eaten together. Remember, what was the case? The case was the bread absorbed wine. You're eating it in one bite. We see it as one entity. However, Isra b'zech is that when the pasuk comes to eat that brayso which said that you're going to be that if you have a mix of skin and seeds together, they get a kazayas. That's not I have to eat them at the same exact time. I eat the seeds, and then a moment later I eat the skin, and nonetheless they're still going to combine together. That is the end of that discussion. And now we begin a new discussion of Mishnah in the middle of Mem Hey Amud Aleph 45a3. That's batzek shebesidke areva. You have dough that's lodged in the cracks of a kneading trough. Okay, so that's the place where you knead. If there is an olive's volume of dough in one place, you have to get rid of it. And if there's not one volume, then you don't have to get rid of it. If it's less, so kazayas, you have to get rid of it. If it's less, you don't have to. Again, what's happening over here, not again, I'm saying this for the first time. What's happening over here is that you have a bowl. Your bowl has cracks in it. So you and I, if our bowl has a crack in it, whoosh, we throw it in the garbage. Back in the day, what they would do is they would plug it up. What do you plug up a bowl with? You plug up a dough. The dough eventually gets old and hard and whatever, and basically it acts as like a sealant, okay? So if there's a kazayas worth of dough, then the Mishnah says you have to you have to get rid of that bowl because it's too much. If it's less, it's not, then we see it as seemingly as part of the utensil, and that's not going to be a problem. Okay, the same thing is going to be regarding tuma, meaning if a person does not want the dough to be there, then it's going to be a chatzitza. If you're toveling this bowl, if you immerse this bowl and you don't want the dough to be there, it's going to be a chatzitza. It's going to be an interposition, and therefore you have to get rid of the dough. The tefillah is not good, just like when you go to the Kalim Mikvan, you have like a sticker on it. It's not going to be good. But if you want it there, then harihu kareva, it's treated as a truff itself. Okay. Fine. I'm Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel says, this Mishnah, which said that it could be up to kazayas and it could be up to kazayas, that it refers to where it's the hole is in the place made to hold it's like at the higher part of the bowl. In other words, here's your bowl. So the bottom is where you knead the dough and all that stuff. The top part is where the bowl is, right? Meaning that the dough doesn't touch it. So this statement that said you can have up to kazayas was said regarding the top parts. On the bottom, where you really, really need your bowl not to have any holes because the flour, the water, it's all going to come through. There, you really want it to be there. Even if it's a kazayas, you don't have to get rid of it. What we learn from here, the pachas of kazayas, when it's less than the kazayas, even it's a place that's not made to hold water, right? So meaning if it's above, what this version of the Mishnah, the interpretation of the Mishnah is telling us like this: if the hole is above where the dough is, where the dough typically is, right? You have a big bowl, so you need the dough over here, right? And the bottom part is going to be where the dough is. Okay, the top part is just the bowl. So with the way we're reading the Mishnah now is that when it said kazayas, not kazayas, that's referring to the top part where the dough, where the dough is not really there, and therefore that part of the bowl is not so important to you. But in the bottom part, there you need it to be plugged up no matter what. And therefore, even if it's kazayas, it's batzah. We treat it just like the areva, we treat it like the trough. There are those who teach this qualification regarding the second part of the Mishnah, and it comes out with a different implication. Vim lav batzah b'vimutu. The last part of the Mishnah said, if there's not a kazayas in one place, it's null due to its smallness. Okay, so I'm Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda says, name of Shmuel, Lo Shana al Makom Ha'asur L'Chazik, that this is only in a place where it's made to hold water. Of Makom She'en Asur L'Chazik, but in a place where it's not meant to hold water, Chai L'Var, you have to get rid of it. Okay, Miklal, implication to Kazayis, if it's in olive's volume, if it's Makom Ha'asur L'Chazik, Chai L'Var. Even if it's a place where, there is the dough is, meaning the bottom part of the bowl. If it's a kazayas, you have to get rid of it, right? So according to the second version, what we're saying is that in the top part you can't have any chametz, any dough. On the bottom part, there you have up to kazayas, but the kazayas you have to get rid of it. Okay, Tani Klish Nakamim, Tani Klish Nabas. We have a brisa which supports the first reading, a brisa supports the second reading. Tani Klish Nakamim will support the first reading. Batzek Shibis Sikeg Areva. Dough that's in the cracks of kneading trough, the law is as follows. Makom asur chazik. If it's in a place that's made to hold the water in a chotetz, there's no interposition. And over, you're not going to be in violation of holding on to chametz. Makom shenas lechazik. If it's in a place where it does not hold the water, chotetz over, then there's going to be a chatzitza, and you are going to transgress the prohibition of owning chametz. When is it so? Because when it's up to kazayis, if it's less than kazayis, if you're makom shenas lechazik, even if it's above where it doesn't hold the water in a chotetz over, it's not going to be interposition, and you're non-transgression. And this is support to the second approach. If there's dough that's in the cracks of an kneading trough, if it's specifically in the place that's made to hold the water, then around 45b1 in a chutz over. There's no interposition and there's no transgression. Over. But if there's even a small amount in the top part, then where the cracks are, if there's a small amount of dough at the top part, then it's going to be a chatzitza, and you're going to be in violation. When is it so possible? When it's less than kazayis, well, kazayis. If it's a kazayis, I feel if it's a kazayis and it's in a place that's made to hold the water, chotetz over, it's in their position, and you're going to be in transgression. Ask the Gemara Kash Nadadi. So what do we do over here? We have two prices; they contradict one another. So Amar Huna, Sami Kilsa Mikmecha Mirta. Ignore the lenient one and go with the stringent one. Okay, fine. Rav Yosef Omer Tanai Shekal to me Alma. You remove all the Tanaim from the world. In other words, we oftentimes have Machlo Astira and Brises, and we say, okay, it's two different Tanaim. So Rav Yosef is going to show us. He says Tanai. It's actually this issue is a matter of Tanaic dispute, and he's going to go ahead and show how it is a Tanaic dispute. This question is a Tanaic dispute, and that now we are caught up with what we missed. This is okay. And now if we're up to 40, if the next recording you want to read is listen to is 45b1. If you were waiting until I caught up, and okay, have a great day.